So this morning, I would like to, first of all, many blessings to everybody out there. Um, I hope you're doing wonderful. I hope you have a great day. I hope you get something from this video. Something I just want to share is that these are, you know, truly, in a sense, none of my ideas, but just an ideas from a collective consciousness that we all share. Um, and it's only because people have written books or left things for me to stumble across and um, really gain a little bit more of an understanding and help me feel more aware of my place. And yeah, I just want to pass that on to anyone who's interested. So I'm just strictly a vehicle, you know, um, to just pass that on and put this out there. So um, just wanted to say that first, but um, with making the picture bigger, I think what I'm kind of trying to get at with saying that is, um, do you know things, or has science proven things, or do we have pretty solid evidence of things that don't fit into the box of, spirituality or religion that you currently um, associate with? You know, I personally think that where real truth lies is completely at the heart, in a harmony between science and spirituality. Excuse me. You know, I think that if it doesn't fit into that picture, we need to take a step back and maybe get a bigger canvas. Um, for example, like a mountain. If we can really see a mountain, we can do scientific tests on it that see the, change in polarity over years and the rock sediment data, and really just carbon testing and half-lives of elements and chemicals. These are all things that are fairly established and can be calculated and read over, a period of time. And if we can see that a mountain, its polarity has switched 5 or 6 times, meaning the entire Earth has flipped and has switched poles. We can see the polarity in the rock has changed, and the sediments have been, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million years old. And that's young, but if our conception of who we are doesn't add that in, um, I think we got to make that picture bigger. If our religious or spiritual doctrine doesn't necessarily associate that, um, there's a great freedom in making that picture bigger, right? So detaching from necessarily the dogma or the institution of a religion, um, not because it's a bad thing, but when you break free from having to stick to an idealized and somewhat stagnantized set of rules and laws and codes, it limits you. Um, and for a long time, I was raised Catholic and I felt limited. I felt that there were some things that I knew, but it didn't make sense into the picture that I had stated, that the world was 2 to 4 thousand years old. Um, or something, for instance, just like that this life is just this one lifetime, right? That, it's this singular existence. We have our, 80 to 100 year shot if you're healthy, and you get this one lifetime, and then from the choices that you make, you're judged upon those choices and put to a place of either heaven or hell. Um, from that singular lifetime scenario, um, and we're judged on the actions in that lifetime, I really got caught up when it was something like, what if we all don't start at the same place? What if we all don't get the same opportunities? Like, for instance, what about a child who was born with cancer out of the womb, had pancreatic cancer, and at 18 months died? That question puzzled me because it was like, where was their chance? Where was their opportunity to show what they could be or what they could do, or to have a fair judgment? They had a fair shot, a fair shake. Does that baby get sent to heaven or hell? In that stigma, I don't think that, and that just doesn't calculate to me that that's fair. If they never had a shot, if they get put one way or another on a singular life basis. But if you make that picture a little bigger and just expand it to, you know, maybe it isn't just this one singular existence, um, it gives you a lot more breathing room. And you don't have to put anything on it, any labels, any type of thing, but just break away a little bit from this singular life mentality, and things just make a little bit more sense. Things like death make a little bit more sense. Why was someone taken too early, or innocent lives taken, or someone who was a very good person, why were they taken? And, or a really bad person, how did they get to live their entire life and nothing bad happened to them in this singular lifetime? How is that fair? Susie, say what's up.
Hey.
The roommate Susie. So I think that is one of the questions that puzzled me. And I think if you do make that picture a little bit bigger, you can gain a little bit more understanding, I think, about life and death, and how the cycle and the beauty and the pain and the suffering and the grace of the whole scenario, more than just you're limited with this one life. That's what I think it is. And I think that's what I would have to say. If it's just like, if it's something that Einstein said, that we really actually have gravitational planes of kind of matter, and our planets sink into those planes, and that's more so what gravity we call is the moon is actually forming around the dip that our Earth has made in the plane of material consciousness, that holds that down, and that's actually why the gravity, we're getting held down. So if these things are in science, we have to be flexible enough to move our spirituality with the times. Use that understanding and technology as a stride. Like I said, where truth really is at the absolute heart of science and spirituality. So if it doesn't combine those two, if it rejects one thing and really gravitates towards another, you can't really do that either, because again, something exists. If something exists, you can't reject it. It's kind of one of those things that people who reject suffering, right? It's like, oh, I want to live in a nice neighborhood where I don't have to go by suffering, and I don't have to, see it, and I don't have to be a part of it, and that, no harm, anything to that lifestyle. That's completely understanding, but it doesn't take away from the fact that suffering still exists, and at some point you will see it. At some point it will affect you, whether it's a family member, or yourself, that you go through, the 4 guaranteed sufferings in life. Birth, which brings suffering to your mother, and somewhat that there's pain in that process, and then there's sickness, old age and death. The Buddha taught that those were, the four guaranteed sufferings of life. Um, and so it's that same thing. You can't reject suffering your whole life because it's there. You have to take it in stride just as much as you take it with good. You have to take the ups just as good as you take the downs. You have to take the wins as good as the losses, the lives that are the births as good as the deaths, like, and really kind of understand that it's all part of just the process, and you're involved in that process. And somewhat of our purpose is to understand that process. Um, and so, yeah, um, those are just a couple thoughts that I had today. Um, and yeah, just if it doesn't fit in that picture, try to get that a bigger canvas, make it bigger, instead of rejecting you trying, that inkling inside of you, that little yearning for wanting understanding, but don't necessarily know the capacity to do it, or how to find it, or who to talk to about it. This is kind of that start, that it's like, free yourself from necessarily being absolutely connected to one religion, but just try to find the beauty in all of them, because they all have the same core values at the heart of them. There's people who are living righteously in each of them, who are actually, living in a sense of really, really getting it. And it's just like, just once you make that picture bigger, you really see, and everything can kind of fit into it. It brings you much more happiness, much more ability to work with and take strides in your spiritual growth and understanding, and be able to grasp the concepts a little bit. So, if that helped anybody, wonderful. If it didn't, that's okay too. Um, I'm just over here sounding like a crazy person. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, have a wonderful day, everybody. Blessings and love to all and everyone. And yeah, comment if you liked it, didn't like it, share it, whatever whatever you got to do if you think other people will like it. Um, let's just learn and grow together, and have fun doing it. Have a great day.